Hey, welcome back to the Car Shocker. My name is Jimmy Prater. I'm a car closer. That's what I am. I close car deals. I close and close and close, and I close car deals. And I love it to watch other people to close car deals. I love it when other people are successful because they're closing car deals. But right now, you got the sales managers making follow-up phone calls. You're taking the sales desk managers and saying, hey, let the salespeople find you. When they get ready to desk a deal with you, let the salespeople find you because I need you to make follow-up phone calls before you can go home. Our industry's flipped. We have a BDC department, but we know that's not really working because people in the internet/BDC department who's supposed to be making the follow-up phone calls really aren't doing their job. See, you have them concentrating on something else. That's processing a lead. But yet you put more responsibility on a desk guy. Okay, so desk guys are getting paid less and less and less every year. You keep penciling their deal. Their pay plan changes monthly sometimes in some stores. And you're always telling them, hey, I need you to work this day, this day, this day, and this day. And yet, general managers, you're not working those days. Father's Day, Mother's Day, you're off, but the desk manager's there, and you're telling the desk manager that now you got to make phone calls. But yet you don't have a closer on the floor. You don't have a true closing process. The desk manager doesn't have time to make a productive phone call. Let's be honest here. How long is a productive phone call? They say a productive phone call is 22 minutes. Is that right? Sounds good. So 22 minutes with a list of customers. I guess the desk manager's new title now is a telemarketer. Desk managers are underpaid. Now they're a telemarketer. They work the longest hours. They open, they close. General managers, you're not doing that. Okay, one who's watching this video is getting offended because they're probably saying, I do that. Thank you. Thanks for doing it. Thanks for doing your job. Are you making the phone calls too, general manager? Are you making the follow-up phone calls? That's not in your pay plan? That's not in your job description? Okay. So if you don't have a closing process, meaning if you don't have a closer there in your bricks and mortar department, we won't even talk about your BDC department. We'll talk about the bricks and mortar department. See, that's a key element for communication with the desk to close a car deal. You got to have a closer on the floor, a floor manager, a closer. You got to have that. There's two closes in a sale, right? You close the product and then you close the figures. Who's closing the figures? Okay, you say that you have desk managers to do that. So they're appraising vehicles, desking deals, lease desking, financing the deals on the desk, and now you want them to make phone calls. You want them to make phone calls. You want to tell them it's their fault because you're not selling cars. No, it's motivation. It's nothing but motivation, and it starts from the top. So dealers, general managers, general sales managers, listen here. If you don't have motivation, it's because you don't have energy. It's because you go to these 20 group meetings and you say, wow, this guy at this store sales rose a little bit this last month is because he's having the desk managers make some phone calls. There's no way a desk manager has the time to make a productive phone call. That's a closer's job and a salesperson's job to follow up. See, if you shut down the deal before the customer leaves, you don't have to worry about making a follow-up phone call. So why don't you just shut it down? Because you got to have a closer out there. See, it's hard for a desk guy to desk a deal, turn their hat around and say, and put a happy smile on, and get in that focus of how to close a car deal. A closer may have just got done closing this deal, this deal, this deal. It's so focused that no matter what type of deal you throw in front of that closer's going to shut it down. The closer's going to close the deal. That's what closers do, closing other figures. It's just like you take a salesperson who know their product, they're going to close you on the product right there and now. You can't expect the desk guy to be on 10 all the time because they're dealing with other issues in the dealership. They're desking several deals at once, and then their energy level's not up to where a closer on the floor whose energy level is up is mingling with the salespeople and keeping them pumped up. So you got to twist it if you're making your underpaid desk guys make phone calls. Who came up with this idea? Who came up with this idea? It doesn't work. Pay your desk guys well. Get a floor manager out there and start closing some car deals. Now, if you like any part of this video, if you got any tips out of it at all, please go ahead, like it and share it. And if you liked it enough to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. You click the little bell button next to it. You click that little bell button every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Now do yourself a favor. My name is Jimmy Prater. Go close something! Yeah!